Hello and welcome back to the Spider-Man limited set review. In this video I'll be discussing all of the green cards and their relative strengths in limited. Usually focused around draft here. I have 5 tiers for evaluating the cards. Tier 1 is the best, Tier 5 is the worst. The tiers are loosely based around pick order-ish type things. Obviously things are, nothing is perfect, but really more of a vehicle to discuss cards. With that in mind, we're going to begin with Damage Control Crew. 3 and a green for a 3/3. When this creature enters, choose one. You can return target card with mana value 4 or greater from your graveyard to your hand, or you can exile target artifact or enchantment. So, this is not really like an artifact or enchantment themed set, so that effect is pretty medium. Notably, this does work with itself, so you can, play 2 of these and then you just have infinite 3/3s for 4 mana. It's not the best thing to be doing ever. I think this is fine. It strikes me as a card that's likely to be somewhat overrated. We've just sort of seen that, in general, Gravedigger is not that good. Now, this is better in a number of ways than Gravedigger. It's obviously it's larger. It's a larger creature, but it does have restrictions on what it can get back. But it can get back non-creatures. So there's like sort of a there's a lot of interesting sort of balances going on here. It's I don't know. I think it's like it's just kind of like whatever. Like it just is sort of your value green for. It's worse than the ones that we've seen recently that were just like always got you something back. This one is situational, but I do think that it's fine. I do think it's probably also likely to be overvalued early on in the set. Ezekiel Sims, Spider Totem, 4 and a green for a 3/5 with reach. At the beginning of combat and turn, target spider you control gets +2/+2 until end of turn. So it can target itself. The one thing about this set is there's not as many spiders as maybe you would think. Um, they are mostly concentrated in like green. Like green does have more of them than some of the other colors, so this can be on. It is good when it works. I just have concerns about how many spiders you're actually going to have in your deck, and this is just a 5 mana 3/5 that does nothing. Really. I mean, it's a decent blocker. It's okay. I just think that there's not really enough spiders. Specifically at common, there's not that many common spiders. And so it's going to be difficult, I think, for this to be on all the time. It plays well. There's the red-green hybrid 2-drop that this plays really well with, actually. So that's kind of like the thing to do with this. I just think, um, it's a 5-drop. 5 drops are not going to be premium. I don't think. Although again, it is a lot of power and toughness if you are doing the thing that it's asking you. Grow extra arms. 1 and a green. For an instant, it costs 1 less to cast if it targets a spider. Target creature gets +1, +4/+4 until end of turn. So, giant growth we know is +2/+3. How much better is 1 mana +4/+4, even if it targets a spider? A little bit. Like, giant growth is pretty bad. It's been pretty bad for a long time. I expect this to not really be a huge improvement over that. If this gave trample, it would probably be too much, and that's why they didn't put trample on it. So I get why they didn't, but I think that might have been what it needed to be good in limited. But I do understand the design sensibilities there. Guy in the chair. 2 and a green for a 2/3. You can tap it to add 1 mana of any color, and you can pay 2 and a green and tap it to put a +1/+1 counter on target spider. Activate only as a sorcery. Note about this set. Weird that for some reason you're allowed to target your opponent's stuff in this set, just like kind of across the board. A lot of stuff like this, where it's like, oh, you can put a counter on target spider. Usually that stuff would be on something you control. For some reason they decided to let you kind of let it loose on this one, and they were like, yeah, you're going to be able to target your opponent's stuff with this. Weird, but you can do it. Yeah, this is just, again, like the whole spider thing. This is also just like a 3 mana elf that does not really do anything when it's in play. Like, it's fine, it fixes your mana, it has minor upside. I'm not excited about this one. Kapow. 2 and a green for a sorcery. Put a +1/+1 counter on target creature you control. It fights target creature an opponent controls. So we've had this before. Savage Punch-esque type card. They're always good, although they have, diplomatic relations was actually kind of bad, but, this is, you're getting a counter, and it's a fight instead of a bite, so, I mean, it is what it is. Sorcery speed, whatever. Usually +1/+1 counter makes these effects very good, and when you don't have the +1/+1 counter, they tend not to be great. So this one getting the +1/+1 counter means it's probably going to be pretty good. Craven's Cats. 1 and a green for a 2/2. You can pay 2 and a green to keep it +2/+2 until end of turn. Activate only once each turn. It's also a villain, which green doesn't care about really at all. But there are other colors that care about that. This is just sort of like continuing on the theme of this whole year, really, of just 2-drop commons that are a step down from what we've seen in the past year. They've kind of settled into this 2-mana 2/2 very minor upside spot in a lot of cases for the two drop commons. I think it's possible that you know that's just where we are now. And this is just super like medium. I would be shocked if I ever play this, but again, it is a 2-drop, so sometimes they just get in the deck because they cost 2. Craven's Last Hunt. 3 and a green for a saga. First chapter, mill 5 cards. When you do, this saga deals damage equal to the greatest power among creature cards in your graveyard to target creature. Chapter 2, target creature you control gets +2/+2 until end of turn. And Chapter 3, return target creature card from your graveyard to your hand. This is very strong. You can sort of think of it as a 4-mana deal 3. It's pretty much going to deal 3 like 90 something percent of the time. And sometimes it does more than that. To a creature. So that rate isn't amazing, obviously, but the value you're getting off of that being a spell that you get to get a creature back from your graveyard and it fuels itself. The one thing preventing it from being in tier 1 is sort of the like, oh, I can't. It doesn't just always work. Is kind of a problem. And your opponent you can get blown out by some stuff that exiles stuff from graveyards. There's not a ton of it, but there's like a little minor amount that can get you. Yeah, it's good. It's a good card. I think this is strong. I just, I do have concerns about, sometimes you just like mill, a 2, like, again, the average 5 cards you're going to mill contain like 1 3-drop ish on average, and the 3-drop usually has 3 power, so you're usually going to be dealing 3 ish. It depends on your deck. But again, you can miss, and when you miss, this card's pretty bad. When you miss, this card is like really, really bad. So you kind of need to be like enabling it with self mill and other stuff. So that is why it's not quite in tier 1 by itself. Lizard, Connor's Curse. 2 green for a 5/5 with trample. When it enters, up to 1 other target creature loses all abilities and becomes a green lizard with base power and type is 4/4. Yeah, this is the nuts. So you just like, you play any 2-drop or 3-drop, and then you play this thing and it turns into a 4/4. That's sick. Like, this is just sick. Like, it just becomes that. It doesn't go away. Like it doesn't. I mean, this might be the best rare in the set, honestly. Like, you just, um, it it does everything. It does all the stuff. Like, you just turn your 2-drop into a 4/4 for 4. Like, and then it just gets to attack, and then you have this 4-mana 5. I don't know why this isn't a 4/4. There's probably like a lore reason or something. Maybe not. I don't really understand why this needed to be a 5/5. I'm sure constructed reasons. This, you could standard mono green. Is it real? Is it a real deck? This card certainly makes you think that it could be real, although casting a 4-mana card in standard seems ambitious. That's the state of things these days. I think this is completely broken. Yeah, you're just getting 9. I mean, you're really getting 7/7 worth of stats for 4 mana ish, something like that. So, yeah. Also, you can win the game sometimes by turning off your opponent's like reach creature or flying creature or something if you just need to do that too. That's a thing that you can do sometimes that will come up. Nice extra utility to have. Again, with the whole, oh, you can target any creature, not just your creatures with this. Sort of a theme throughout the set. Just a note. Lurking Lizards. 1 and a green for a 1/3 with trample. When you cast a spell with mana value 4 or greater, put a +1/+1 counter on this creature. This feels pretty whatever to me. We had Sahagin, and this is just like worse Sahagin. The thing about Sahagin that was so good is that it could always attack. Like, you could always be like, okay, well, I do the thing, and then I get to attack, and they can't because it has unblockable. This has trample and doesn't really actually get to attack. It doesn't block well early. It's a 1/3 for 2. That's a pretty bad deal. It messes with your curve, right? Like, your ideal curve in these decks is like, oh, I play the red green 2/2, and then on turn 3 I play a 4-drop. But this is like, well, I now play this 2-drop, and then I don't play a 4-drop until turn 4, and then this is a 2/4, but then it didn't actually block on like turn 3, and now I'm just kind of like behind, right? So this doesn't. I feel it doesn't work as well as Sahagin. Maybe I'll get burned again, and this will just be good like Sahagin was, but I think I'm gonna be low. Miles Morales, 1 and a green for a 1/2. When it enters, put a +1/+1 counter on each up to 2 target creatures. You can pay 3 red, white, and green to transform it, only as a sorcery. It transforms into a 4/3 with first strike and haste. It has camouflage. For 2 colorless mana, put a +1/+1 counter on this creature. It gains hexproof and becomes colorless until end of turn. Whenever you attack, double the number of each kind of counter on each spider and legendary creature you control. So yeah, this is a good card. I don't really think you're going to be flipping it all that often, although I guess it is green, and green can make colors of mana. Fixing is easier. He looks like he's like staring into your eyes, though. Look at the first art. He's just like looking at you. He's looking right directly into your soul. It's very unnerving. Um, yeah. Um, now I can't unsee that. I've noticed that, and now it's now stuck in my head forever. I will never be able to unsee it. Oh, that's good. That's a nice thing that we've discovered together in this experience. So the front side of this card is kind of like sneaky a 2 mana 2/3. It's really good when you have a 1-drop. Like when you have a 1-drop, and you play this, and then you're just rolling, like you're just in, right? You just have a 2/3, and then your 1/1's a 2/2, and then you're just kind of going off. Otherwise, you're waiting until turn 4. Then you're getting a 2/3 that gives a +1/+1 counter for something for 2, which is good. Still a good rate, but not busted. The transformability seems. I mean, it seems like it could happen. I don't know. It is 6 mana, but it is like, is it worth it? Not really, because then you have to. No, you get to it. It's whenever you attack. Spider legendary creature. So he's gonna have a counter on him. And then this is really just a debate between whether you move it up to tier 1 or leave it in tier 2. I think I will move it up to tier 1 just because it is green, and green has the easiest time fixing for these colors. Yes, we've done that. It is not a 2-drop, but I don't know. I think it's just good rate-wise. Pictures of Spider-Man. 2 and a green for an artifact. When this artifact enters, look at the top 5 cards of your library. You may reveal up to 2 creature cards from among them and put them into your hand. Put the rest on the bottom of your library in a random order, and you can pay 1 and sacrifice this to create a treasure token. Just kind of interesting. Yeah, I mean, this looks sick to me. So you're 2 mana to. You should be drawing 2 cards a lot. Now, I want to be very clear. This is not stock up. This card is not as good as stock up. But there are similarities. There are similarities to stock up. And it's undeniable that that's the case. It's divination with extra selection. Yes, you only get to have creatures. Fine. But the selection piece of it really has shown to be valuable. This always draws you gas. Obviously, if you don't have enough creatures in your deck, it's going to be kind of medium. But I think in most decks where you have 12 or more creatures, which is pretty average, you're going to be hitting 12 out of 40 is like 30% of the time in one card. So you 5 cards. Odds of bricking, 330s, but then you're not even trying to brick. Yeah, maybe this is too aggressive then, because you actually brick on this like 30% of the time, somewhere around there. And by brick, I mean you only hit one creature. Hmm. I should move this down then. Maybe you need to just be at 15 creatures. Maybe that's the part that I'm missing. Is like, yeah, you actually just need to be at 15 creatures because then you have like a 40% chance to hit on one. Yeah, if you have 15, this actually seems insane. But if you only have 12, maybe it's not quite enough. You're getting 2 creatures. You need so all right. 23 spells down to 22 because of this one. You need like 5 pieces of interaction-ish. Puts you to 18. You probably have another 3 miscellaneous cards. Yeah, it's hard. It's just hard to fit this in is my problem. But I think the value is really like a value proposition is really good. Oh, I want to believe in this card, but I am talking myself down on it. It does look like stock up, but I think the fact that it just misses sometimes. I mean, not like straight up. It basically never like misses, but if you hit one creature with this, it's kind of a disaster. Like you're pretty far behind if you do that. And that's going to happen with some frequency. And it like green kind of feels like it wants to be on the faster side. All right, let's think about the green pairs. Green red is one, and green white is the other one, right? Those are the two things that the two supported color pairs for green in this set. So green white cares about web slinging and wants all of its creatures to be attacking and tapped early. It wants small creatures, but it does care about value. Web slinging is a value ability. The dog is draws a card. The 2-drop draws a card. It is kind of a value deck. You can play some white removal spells. So maybe you're supposed to play web slinging as kind of a slower deck. But then how are you getting your stuff tapped? So that to me is kind of the thing with this. Is are you actually getting like does it work? So that's red white, green white. Green red is the other supported green deck. Green deck wants to go big. It wants to cast spells mana value 4 or greater. This certainly seems like it's playing with that pretty well. It finds the big signpost, which I think is good, but is 7 mana. Um, it also, but that's at an awkward part of the card. But that's actually fine though, because then on like turn 6, because turn 2 you want to play the mana elf. Turn 3 you want to play a 4-drop. This can't fetch lands. It kind of, I don't know, I'm talking myself down. I'm going to talk myself down to tier 3, and then I'm going to end up being wrong. I've succeeded in talking myself down. This is where I'm moving it to. It is pure card draw. If it ends up being stock up, that's okay. Professional Wrestler, 3 and a green for a 4/4. When this creature enters, create a treasure token. It can't be blocked by more than one creature. I kind of like this. This seems like a nice 4-drop. You're getting a treasure, and your thing. This actually seems like kind of good because green, again, caring about the 4 mana value thing. This is the thing. It helps you cast your big stuff, and it's also 4 mana, and it is hard to block. So I think this is pretty good. I could even argue that maybe like we're heading for best green common. It's hard to make a 4-drop your best common, but maybe we're headed there. Radioactive Spider, 1 mana for a 1/1 with reach and death touch. You can pay 2 and sacrifice to search your library for a spider hero card, reveal it, put it in your hand, and then shuffle, activate only as a sorcery. So there are enough spider heroes in the set that this ability actually does matter. 1 mana 1/1 reach death touch is fine. It's kind of not amazing. This card obviously scales with how good the other cards in your deck are, right? If you have a really good spider hero card, then this card is a lot better. And if you don't, this card is pretty bad. So that's kind of how I've rated it, is like with the assumption that you sometimes have those things and sometimes you don't. but it is a spider. You know, you can wear counters and stuff that are spider-related things. It does do web slinging okay, right? It's a death toucher, but then if your opponent ever makes like a 1/1, you're sad, and then it doesn't do web slinging well. So it's, you know, give and a take with this card. Sandman Shifting Scoundrel. One green green for a star star. Its power and toughness are equal to the number of lands you control. It can't be blocked by creatures power 2 or less. You pay 3 green green to return this card and target land card from your graveyard to the battlefield tapped. So this just seems like ridiculous to me. Obviously, it's not easy to cast on turn 3. It's green green, fine, whatever. It is a huge creature that you can't kill because it just comes back for 5, and then it's a 5/5. And then, like, how does your opponent ever deal with this? There is exile removal, there's some. But man, like, this is just a beating. You can't really block it easily. Like, you can't chump it, basically, is what this says. And you also. Like, there's just no. It's just huge. We've seen the creatures that have power and toughness equal to the number of lands you control are always good. They've just kind of always are better than even they sort of read because they scale with the game. This one provides value from the graveyard. So, and it also gets. Oh, I guess the one thing is you do need to have a land card in your graveyard to get it back. So that is one thing. But there are ways to self mill lands into your graveyard in black, although not that green black's a supported deck. Lands just kind of end up but in red there's discard stuff that could get the land into the graveyard. You could discard this, or you could discard the land. There's also Evolving Wilds. Evolving Wilds is just at common in this set, so you can just have that, and then you got one. Yeah, this is going to be able to. You can at least recur it once per game, pretty frequently, I would say. So I think this is going to just be great. Scout the City, 1 and notably with Evolving Wilds, you can just do that forever. The Evolving Wilds gets cracked, and then this thing just gets recurred forever. So that is also something. Scout the City. 1 and a green for a sorcery. You can choose one. Mill 3 cards. As mentioned, lands get into the graveyard. You may put a permanent card from among them into your hand. You gain 3 life. Destroy target creature with flying is the other option. Yeah, I mean, this looks great to me. Gain 3 life, really good. You can put a permanent from among them into your hand. Great. And then you can also just, if there's creatures with flying that you want to deal with, you can go creature with flying. Cool. I don't know. I like this a lot. This is the type of card that I like. Green is really impressing me in this set review so far. Are we headed for another green meta? The things. I mean, Mayhem is interesting. But web slinging, green. Could it be a green fall, man? Green fall, despite the Spiderham Peter Porker, 1 and a green for a 2/2. When it enters, create a food token. Other spiders, boars, bats, bears, cats, dogs, frogs, jackals, lizards, mice, otters, rabbits, raccoons, rats, squirrels, turtles, and wolves you control get +1/+1. I am impressed that I was able to read that fast. That was sick. Honestly, kind of liked that. Yeah, this is good, right? This is just like a 2-mana lord for, I don't know, a decent amount of the set. I don't really want to try to figure out what percentage it is, but it's like 50-ish, somewhere around there. There's a decent amount of spiders, not a ton, but a decent amount. This makes a food for 2. Great, 2-drop. I could even just move it into tier 1 because it's easy to take early, and maybe I just will do that. That would be like the 4th tier 1 green rare, though. And this does die to shock. So, there's that. But it's good. It's a good card. Spider-Man Brooklyn Visionary. 4 and a green for a 4/3 with web slinging for 2 and a green. When it enters, search your library for a basic land card, put it onto the battlefield tapped, and then shuffle. This is a nightmare. This card is an absolute nightmare because if you don't have a 2-drop and your opponent is green-white and they play the 2-mana dog that draws a card, and you don't have a 2-drop on the draw, and then they attack you with the dog, play this, pick up the dog. This is now a 4/3 and play for 3. They have 4 lands. The game is just over. Like, you just can't. Like, you're just so far behind. This to me indicates that 2-mana, like, it's gonna be. People are gonna hate this format. People are gonna hate this format because if you don't have a 2-drop on 2 in this format and your opponent is on the play, and they have the web slinging stuff going, you're just gonna get cooked. And that's just how it's gonna be. And so you're really, really gonna need to have cheap spells. And speaking of that dog earlier, in Bloomborough, you would fire off removal spells on the 1/1 frog that drew them a card. You might have to do that in this format. Like that might be a thing that has to happen because of cards like this existing. I mean, this just looks really strong. Obviously, if you're not web slinging it, it's just whatever. It's not good. But I mean, again, the bird is really a web. Like, there's a lot of web slinging enablers in green white, and I think this is gonna work really well in green white. And that's half of the green decks ish that you're gonna play, right? Like that's the supported color pairs. You can try to play green black. I would not advise trying to play blue green at all. If you find yourself playing blue green in this set, I would seek professional help because that is going to be a disaster. Spider Rex, Daring Dino, 4 green green, 6/6, Reach Trample, Ward 2. Yeah, I mean, this is a large guy with Reach and Trample, 6 mana, 6/6. We've seen these be decent. This one's going to be decent. It, unlike the last couple, it doesn't gain you life or have a buyout, so I think it's a little bit worse than those ones. But I think it's still going to be playable. I mean, again, a 6 drop, tier 4 is kind of where they go. Yeah, Ward 2's nice. Spider's Man Heroic Horde. 1 and a green for 2/3 with web slinging for 4 green green. When it enters, if it was cast using web slinging, you gain 3 life and create 2/2/1 green spider tokens with reach. Yeah, I mean, this is great, right? So it's a 2 drop that actually enables web slinging well because it has 3 toughness, so you can attack into your opponent's thing and they can like block and the thing will bounce off each other, and then you can web sling this back to your hand, and then later on in the game you can web sling it out, and then you get the extra value and whatever. So this is actually pretty good on web slinging on both sides, and it's just a good 2 that can also provide value later on in the game. Like you're paying 6 mana and bouncing something for 3 2/2s essentially ish, and some of those have reach. So yeah, I mean this looks really strong to me. This might be the best uncommon. It's up there. Strength of Will. 1 and a green instant. Until end of turn, target creature you control gains indestructible, and whenever this creature is dealt damage, put that many +1/+1 counters on it. We've seen these effects before. They're pretty bad. When you don't increase the power and toughness of the creature before combat, you really, really have to be just like pure trading, and pure trades only happen early in the game where this is coming at the expense of you playing your 3 drop or your 4 drop, and that tends to be pretty bad deal wise. Like you'd be like, okay, well I ate my opponent's 2/2, and then this gets to be, my creature gets 2 counters on it, and then I didn't play a 3 drop, but now I have a 2 mana 4/4, and I'm still at the same number of cards. And if my opponent removes this 2 drop, that I'm kind of out of the game. It's not really a great trade for you usually. Um, it's just too slow, right? It's just too slow, and it doesn't really line up very well. Not the type of card that's going to be great. Supportive Parents, 2 and a green, 3/3. Tap 2 untapped creatures you control, add 1 mana of any color. Yeah, I mean, this seems fine. The fact that you can. Oh, wait, hold on. No, this is actually the nuts. Because of, like, the web slinging. This is actually really good, now that I think about it. I had this rated low because I was like, do you ever really want to do this? Yes, you do want to do this. Because, again, the dog. This plus the dog plus, like, web slinging stuff. And you can also. Yeah, this seems like it's going to be really annoying. Hold on, I gotta move this up. Yeah, I mean this looks pretty good. The thing again, it doesn't need help. It's a 3 mana 3/3 by itself. But again, like just being able to, we've kind of seen this before where being able to tap my creatures to get this, like, it's like kind of giving all of your spells convoke in a way a little bit, which is good. Convoke is a good ability. It's expensive convoke, but it's good. It's still convoke, and that's powerful, and it allows you to hold up. It's any color. It allows you to hold up instants. This is a nightmare to play with on Arena, by the way. I kind of can't believe they printed this card. Yeah, I mean this actually looks really good because being able to tap your own stuff is really, really valuable in green-white specifically. And in green-red, it's ramping for your big stuff. Not that this is much worse in green-red because green-red is not really going wide. Green-white going wide a little bit. So yeah, like this. Terrific team up, 3 and a green, instant. The spell costs 2 to cast your control permanent with mana value 4 or greater. 1 or 2, target creatures you control get +1/+1, +1/+0 until end of turn. They each deal damage equal to their power to target creature and opponent controls. This is the type of removal spell that's usually very good. Even if you were to have to pay 4 for this, it's very similar to the card from the last set, Diplomatic Relations. You will not have to pay 4 for this. It's like a split, but you can find a way to not have to pay 4 for this a lot, I think. I think this is going to be 2 mana a lot, and when it's 2 mana, it's very, very, very strong. Wall Crawl, 3 and a green, enchantment. When this enchantment enters, create a 2/1 green spider, creature token with a reach, then gain 1 life for each spider you control. Spiders you control get +1/+1 and can't be blocked by creatures with defender. Yeah, so I think, as I've said, in green, there's a decent amount of spiders. Everywhere else, there's kind of not as many. Green seems to have a decent amount, a lot of tokens. I'm pretty in on this. Like, this looks good to me. Worst case scenario, you're getting a 4 mana for a 3/2 that gains you 1 life, which is pretty bad. But I think, like, I think that you're just gonna have another spider in play in green the vast majority of the time. And this is going to be quite good and gain you a couple of life, and then you're just going to be like ahead. The fact that it gains you the life is actually really significant. Web of Life and Destiny. 6 green for an enchantment with Convoke. At the beginning of combat on your turn, look at the top 5 cards of your library. You may put a creature card from among them onto the battlefield. Put the rest on the bottom of your library in a random order. So 8 mana, but you can Convoke it. And then at the beginning of combat every turn, you're just drawing a card and casting it. You're going to hit most of the time with this. I think this is actually pretty achievable. Again, Convoke helps a lot. There is a ramp deck. Red-green is the one that wants this. But yeah, this looks good to me. Like, I don't think it's busted by any means. I haven't rated it that high. But I think you can do this. If you think about this as costing like 6, which is about what it's going to cost you, because you're going to have 2 creatures in play on turn 6 a lot of the time, and then you're so likely to hit the first time. We did this math earlier. If you have 12 creatures in your deck, you're like 90-something% to hit one. Now, obviously, if you hit a small one, it's maybe not going to be so great. But once you get to the second turn, you're pretty happy. If you had to wait a turn for this, if it was at the beginning of your first main phase, you got this, I would be completely off the card. I would think it's terrible. But the fact that you get to do it pre-combat, some of the creatures have haste even. If you ever hit the red-green 7-drop, that now I want to go back and regrade because I think that card's actually kind of good. This is just sick. I don't know. I think this is good. I think this is decent. And that's green. Green looks good, man. Green looks like it's gonna be the best color to me. At least that's how I'm feeling looking at these cards. Both of its archetypes look very well supported. It just looks like it has independently powerful cards. I'm pretty in. I'm pretty in on green in this set. And that's gonna be it for this set review. This one was a longer one. I kind of was rambling a lot, so I also spelled Convoke wrong, so that's fine. We'll just ignore that. The spelling mistakes on the slideshow are, we do what we can. But I'll see you in the next one.